you are never gonna get hired with the way your voice sounds. I'm sorry, what? I'm sick and tired of labeling myself that I am the girl with the vocal cord problems. You are not defined by your condition. You are not defined by your insecurities.
1, 2, 3, let's switch this up.
Hi, my little honeys. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Anastasia, also known as your fave social media girl. If you are new, please don't forget to subscribe before this video ends. And of course, please turn on the notification bell button so you know every single time that I post, which is on Fridays. I'm like in a really good mood today. I don't know why that is or how that is, but I woke up in like a really good headspace. I'm nervous to do this video because I've never actually openly talked about my medical condition. There was a time in my life that I even hid away from it, that I purposely would not tell people about it because I was afraid to get stigmatized. I was afraid to not get casted because of it. And then there was a time where I believed I would never be an actor with it. And then now where I'm at with it is, I mean, I have it, it's there. I know all the do's and don'ts. I know what I can and cannot do. And that's it, that's that. Obviously, if you really need to know about it, I can tell you about it, but it's not something that I don't walk into the room with it first, you know? I wanted to do this video because I've actually never openly talked about this on my channel ever. I think in only one video, like a few weeks ago when I was doing an acting video, I mentioned that I had a medical condition with my vocal cords, and that was really the end of it. So I think this would be a great video to do and just sort of open a very, very tough, vulnerable time in my life, talk about my journey, my struggle, and hopefully it will help some fellow honeys. It will help some of you. I will connect with you, and maybe it's exactly what you need to hear as well. The medical condition that I have, it is called sulcus vocalis. Crazy name. Yes, I know. I could barely even say it myself. So what is this medical condition? I'm actually reading the legit definition. So it's a voice disorder that causes vocal hoarseness, vocal weakness, and vocal fatigue. This condition results from the thinning or loss of a layer of tissue along the vocal cords here. This is called the superficial lamina propria. Yeah. So this tissue is what is supposed to vibrate during the production of sound. So that is what sulcus vocalis is. It is something that I actually will live with for the rest of my life. It will never go away. I will always have it. And I just have to learn how to work with it on a daily basis because I'm an actor and my vocal cords are literally like a construction worker has a toolbox. My vocal cords are my toolbox. It's kind of unclear how mine happened. I guess I could have been an unhealthy way of using my voice. I don't know if that was the case, or I could have been born with it. It's hard for me to say. Okay, so now we're gonna get into the actual journey about it. I don't know why I feel so awkward doing this video. I'm just really, like I said, I'm really nervous doing this video. I just like speaking about it so openly. I think this is also something that I have a little bit of trauma with. I'm actually going to be stepping into talking about a little bit of my theater school because theater school really tied into a lot of the trauma that I had of the abuse that I went through, and definitely gave me a really hard time loving my vocal cords, loving the way my voice sounds. So I think that's why I'm nervous to sort of open that box up. Okay, so like I said, this started sometime in high school. I would like feel like I'm constantly losing my voice. I would wake up and I would have almost like a hard time, like I didn't have an ability to almost speak. Like I try to say something and it sounds like, hi guys, welcome to your fave social media girls channel. You know when people have been smoking for years, they have that like kind of like cigarette hoarseness. So that's what I sounded like sometimes, which was strange because I like didn't really smoke in high school. So I couldn't understand where this was coming from. And it was something that I really struggled with because my drama program in my high school was solely based on musicals, and I was a singer. And I noticed that when I would sing, it actually would hurt. Like I felt always strained here. I'd always felt very tired, and I just felt like I wanted to like shut up and not talk because then it wouldn't hurt. Like didn't do anything about it because I didn't think much of it. I didn't even think like vocal problems existed at the time. And then I went to university. I got into theater school. For 4 years of theater school, you do vocal class, and we have a vocal teacher. In my first year, it was my first semester, she was kind of like, are you sure like you're okay with your vocal cords? Like something doesn't sound right. And I'm like, yeah, I mean, I've sounded like this for years. Like this is just how it is. Second semester rolls around and she's like, Yeah, no, really, like, I think you actually have a legit serious issue. I think you need to kind of get into, like, looking into it. I think you may have vocal nodes. I'm like, what the heck are vocal nodes? So vocal nodes is very common. A lot of actors, a lot of like people who are in the industry who use their voice all the time get it. It's essentially having almost like vocal blisters. They say that you just need to stop talking for 2 months and then they kind of go away and they heal. But then you have to be careful with the way you place your voice. Like, for example, the Kardashians, they have that vocal fry. Like, talking like that is actually really bad for your voice. So I go to this clinic. I don't know if they're called a voice doctor. I don't know the actual medical term of it. She essentially like checked out my voice. She did like a scope, like a camera down my throat and checked them out. And she's like, yeah, it seems like you have vocal nodes, like sent you to a vocal therapist and you're gonna work with her for like 3-4 months. Essentially, she's like, you need to stop talking. And I was like, well, girl, I can't do that because I go to theater school and I have class 7 days a week. So that means I'd have to literally just drop out of theater school, stop talking, and then go back. And I didn't want to do that. So I started doing this vocal therapy. This is like second semester at this point of first year. And things were not getting any better. In fact, my voice was actually getting worse and we couldn't understand why that was happening. And essentially, I will never forget this, but in my second semester, that meeting that I had at the end of the year, first year, where they tell you like how you did throughout the semester, my vocal teacher pretty much word for word said that you are never gonna get hired with the way your voice sounds. Like, it does not sound pretty. Nobody likes a raspy voice. Yeah, that was it. And I was on probation. I walked out of that and I like went into a state of shock because I was like, first of all, I cannot believe that I'm actually on probation partially because of my vocal cords. And so then during the summer, I continued doing my vocal therapy like once a week. I had special exercises I had to do. Like, it was a whole thing. My voice was not getting better. It was just pretty much either the same or even getting worse. Then September rolls around and I went back to my vocal therapist and I told her, I said, listen, something's not going on here because I've been working with you for months. I should be getting better. And it's not, and I don't know what's going on. So she's like, yeah, I understand that. I feel like something else is happening, so let's take a look at it again. So we went back and she started looking and she goes, oh my God, I think you have a vocal cyst, which is what Adele had, and she had to go into vocal surgery for it and get rid of it. So she's like, vocal therapy won't really help you. This isn't something that will go away. You need to actually surgically remove it, and then it will kind of like allow the hoarseness to go away, and then your voice is gonna be like the way it's supposed to be. We set up a date for surgery. It was supposed to happen in December. I was fighting my way through that entire semester because I was on probation. I was trying to prove to them that I belong here. They kept being like, you're gonna get kicked out if your voice doesn't get better. And I told them, no, don't kick me out. I'm getting surgery. So don't worry, when I come back next semester, I'm gonna have a beautiful voice. Like, I'm gonna have what you want. Nobody wanted to help me in theater school. Not one teacher wanted to be like, let me get your resources. Let me check you out. Like nothing. Like, they could care less. They threw me under the bus. They threw me into probation, and I was so belittled and I felt so crap about myself that I was obsessed. I would wish and I would like pray to the universe that I had a nice sounding voice. Like, I hated my voice that much because theater school made me hate it. Essentially, the rest of the semester, I like did not drink. I did not smoke anything. I couldn't even eat spicy food. I like would only talk when I had to talk in theater school. Other times I would literally just shut up and not speak. And then December rolls around and my probation interview, like recap, was happening before the surgery. The only reason that actually saved me from not getting kicked out was the fact that I was going to get surgery to fix my voice, to get rid of this vocal cyst that I thought I had. And then I would come back sounding like, I don't know, amazing, like as a female would. Like, I don't even know what that means, but that's literally what they told me. Well, surgery rolls around and I was told that I'm not allowed to speak for at least like 2 to 3 months after I come out. And so I came out of it and I'm not speaking, and they gave me a notepad and pen and paper and all that kind of stuff. And I'm like shaking because my body temperature is trying to adjust and I'm so confused, and I'm writing on this piece of paper and I said, did the surgery go well? And I literally remember hearing the nurse, he's like looking at my piece of paper and he's standing there and he's like, oh, this is weird. She didn't operate on you. And me in my state of mind, I'm hearing this and I'm like, what? Didn't operate on me? Why? Like, what happened? What's going on? Like, I don't understand. And I literally wrote the name of my vocal teacher and I said, she's gonna be really mad. I'm going to get kicked out of theater school. Like, even in my state of like, absolutely being high, I was still so scared that I was going to get kicked out. And I was like trying to prove to this nurse that I had to have had, like, no, you don't understand. Like, I need to get the surgery. I have to. This isn't just a want. This is what saves me. Yeah, I was brought back then after the recovery room. They took me and they brought me to where my mother would be waiting for me in my own personal room. And she was there. And I told, like, I didn't even say anything because I didn't know if I was allowed to speak. So I wrote it to her. I said, apparently they didn't operate on me. And she's like, what? And so she's like, no, we're waiting. We're waiting for your surgeon to call you or to show up or whatever. And she's going to tell you what exactly happened. So she calls me. It hurt for me to speak because they were obviously touched. So my vocal cords were inflamed and I could barely have a sound come out. And she said, essentially, she's like, when I put you under, I started to pull the mucus off your vocal cords. And she said that you have a condition, which is sulcus vocalis. And you have like a million little microscopic holes on your vocal cords. This condition is so rare. I don't know, 0.25% of people in the entire world have it. And it's something that's so new. She told me that there's a clinic in Boston that deals with specifically this condition. And they're working on these, it's essentially almost like Band-Aids that you like have put over your vocal cords. And that is like what is like that extra layer tissue that you are missing. And this is like a trial clinic sort of vibe. There's no guarantee that this will even help you. And in fact, there's no guarantee that this will even like could go well. So she's like, it's up to you. You know, I come back to theater school, second semester, second year. And I actually I stood behind the door. I took a moment. I took such a deep breath in and I was like, I'm going back to school with not what they wanted. I am showing up with the same voice, which is part of the reason why they wanted to kick me out. I begged for them to keep me because I was gonna get surgery, but that didn't happen. So where does that leave me? Do I still get kicked out? What's going on? I wrote them a huge email actually before even that class saying that this is what happened. I'm not going anywhere. You are not kicking me out for something that I have no control over. This is how I sound. This is the way it is. I'm gonna work with my condition and I'm going to be an actor in this theater school, period. Nobody emailed me. Nobody answered. And that to me, I think at that time, I started to realize they don't care about me. And I just felt like I fought so hard for my place here. I want to stick it to the end. I want to stick it. I want to show it to them that, you know what? Screw you guys. I have a condition, but it's not going to stop me. I will become an incredible actor. I will become a very successful actor despite my condition. And I'll prove to you guys that you were all wrong for what you did and for the way you treated me because of my medical condition. The rest of the semester, they kind of honestly, it's like everybody ignored the fact that this ever happened. We never talked about it. We never talked about my medical condition. We never talked about any of it. Nobody answered my email. Nobody ever questioned. Nobody even asked if I was okay. And I graduated. I learned to really love my voice over the years. It took me a while. It took me a long time to get to that point. It wasn't easy, but that was sort of my entire journey with my vocal cords and my theater school. I continued to prove myself and to them. This is kind of where my self-love journey started happening with my vocal cords. We had a lot of guest directors that come in your third year and your fourth year. I was like, I'm not going to tell them that I have a medical condition. I'm not. If they ask me to do specific things that I know I cannot do, then I'll tell them. But if they don't, I'm not going to say anything because I'm sick and tired of labeling myself that I am the girl with the vocal cord problems and I'm an actor. I started to sort of just walk into the room and just be like, this is me. This is how I sound. This is what it is. Take me as I am. And if you don't, well, then you don't. What do you want me to do about it? It was interesting. Almost every single director that I had, the first thing they would do, they would comment on my voice and be like, oh my God, your voice is beautiful. It's sexy, raspy. It's what every actor wants. And when they would tell me this, I would sit there and I'd be like, I'm sorry, what? Did I just hear that correctly? Was I just complimented on my voice? And I remember this one director, love him so much. I wish him the best. He was amazing. He gave me a huge character, which I was so happy about. It was my first ever. It took me 3 years to get a lead role. It was my first time ever doing a lead role. And I did it. Was it hard? Yes. And I learned things about myself that I was like, okay, I can't do this. I can't do that. And I succeeded. I think I even more than succeeded. I think I flourished. I think I grew into something that I don't even know I was capable of growing into. Yeah, I guess now I'm just coming to the end of the video. My lesson for you honeys is that you can be whatever you want to be. Like nobody ever should take that, tell you, like judge you, whatever. Like none of that. I realized that when I was in theater school, I was obsessed with having someone validate me. I was obsessed with pleasing other people. I was obsessed with being good for other people. But in the end, I was never doing it for myself. So that's why I could never gain my confidence. That's why I could never gain the love that I had for myself. Never say no. And never let anyone get in your way. Never let anyone tell you no. Because I think the bottom line is that you are you. You validate you. And no one else will validate you except for you. I love the way I sound. I love my voice. I'm sorry if that sounds, I don't know, narcissistic, but I do. I really do. And I'm happy to say that, because if you asked me this 4 or 5 years ago, I would have been so embarrassed to even say I love my voice. But my voice is my #1 money-making machine. It's what brings me the auditions. Like, shit, I have an agent that absolutely loves the way I sound. She even commented on it when we signed a deal. She's like, you have a great voice. I'm like, so can I hear that again? All those teachers, every single one of them were so wrong. I don't know why they were like this. I really don't. And I don't think I really want to know. But I'm happy that I shared this experience. I really am, because I think my channel obviously is primarily acting, and I think there's a lot of honeys that are subscribed to me who are actors, who want to become actors, who are starting out, who have been in the business, whatever. And whatever your struggle is, whether it is a medical condition or not, it doesn't matter. You are not defined by your condition. You are not defined by your insecurities. Embrace your insecurities. Your insecurities is what makes you a beautiful, beautiful person. Don't be hard on yourself. Stop judging yourself, because it's so not worth it. It's not helping you. Thank you for watching. Thank you for staying to the end. Thank you for listening to my story about my medical condition with my vocal cords. And I love you all. Big hugs for all of you. And I'm going to see you all next Friday. Don't forget to subscribe, and don't forget to follow me on Instagram. Love you, honeys. Bye.